Ja, ich bin live. Live. Endlich. Es geht. Nachdem es ewig nicht gegangen ist, ja. Ich musste meinen PC quasi neu starten. Genau. Ich hoffe, ihr könnt Englisch, falls ich Zuschauer habe. Könnte natürlich sein, dass ich wie immer keine habe. Aber gut, denn ich schaue mir jetzt dieses Video an. Akatsuki Member, Mitglieder. Hier haben wir, ich sag mal kurz, an was ich mich erinnere. Der hier, Sasori, kann natürlich Papierbomben bauen aus seiner Hand. Dann haben wir Tobi, der kann sich so spiralmäßig wegteleportieren und zuteleportieren. Dann haben wir Pain, was kann der? Der ist einfach krass, den gibt es 7 Mal, der hat unterschiedliche Kräfte, jeder seiner Körper, aber kann ich mich jetzt nicht genau daran erinnern. Dann haben wir natürlich Itachi, der kann natürlich Sharingan-mäßig was machen. Und so rabenmäßiges Zeug, genau. Dann haben wir Kisame, was kann der nochmal? Ja, der hat so ein Schwert, ist das ein Haifisch, allgemein ist er ein Hai. Der kann halt im Wasser gut sein. Und der hat später mal eine dünnere Form. Dann haben wir Sasori, der kann Puppen machen. Dann haben wir Hidan mit der Sense, wenn der sich selbst verletzt und den Gegner im Schatten hat, dann kann er den verletzen. Und natürlich, wie heißt denn der Typ mit der Maske, weiß ich jetzt gerade nicht. Hat mehrere Leben. Naja, auf jeden Fall, wir schauen jetzt rein. Ich erinnere mich nicht mehr so ganz daran, aber ja. Oh.
The Naruto War arc is in the editing process. I figured,
Yeah.
You know what? Let's do some honest descriptions on something else Naruto based.
Okay.
Since I'm sort of stuck in this franchise for a little while, I may as well abuse the crap out of it. So, I asked you guys on Twitter, and you guys
Natürlich, Akatsuki, beste.
voted that you wanted me to do an honest descriptions on every member of the Akatsuki. And I totally get that because they're one of my favorite evil organizations in anime, so it's only fair to give them the respect they deserve and honestly, with absolutely zero sarcasm whatsoever, describe these beautiful bastards.
Okay, also viel Sarkasmus mit dabei. Muss ich mir im Hinterkopf behalten. Genau.
So, otherwise known as Pain. In case you couldn't tell by his nickname, he is a slight masochist and
Nagato, aka Pain.
has an incredibly powerful Rinnegan, despite it not really ever being explained how he got it. Oh, it says it's because Madara gave it to him, somehow. Even though Madara is freaking dead, and it wasn't through Tobi because Pain is older than
Okay, ich verstehe.
Obito. But in any case, it doesn't matter because he had it, which was enough reason for Jiraiya to decide to stick around, train, and protect him and his group for a bit of time. So, he's lucky, because if not for his tremendous latent power, I'm sure Jiraiya would have had, no qualms leaving him to die.
Nope,
And of course, had Jiraiya listened to Orochimaru and killed the orphans, it would have resulted in many saved lives. Yes,
Ja, ein Idiot.
Orochimaru is the protagonist of the Naruto series, as I will express when I get
Ja,
to
Leute,
the
hier habt ihr
video.
Untertitel.
After Pain founded the Akatsuki and lost some of his buddies, he decided to convert his organization from trying to protect his nation to, a very similar goal, world domination for the sake of peace.
Genau, hier hat Tobi noch die alte Maske.
Of course. And that's what I love about Naruto. All these strategies are perfectly thought through. If he gets ultimate power to wipe out a nation in one shot, everyone will live totally happy lives with absolutely no fear. It's everyone's dream to have a
Genau, sie hat noch Papierkräfte. Die war gar nicht mit auf dem Thumbnail mit drauf. Ja.
completely maniacal overlord that no one wants to mess with because
Alter, Nagato geht ewig. Oh mein Gott. Oh mein Gott.
he has that little red button that can vaporize your pants off. But enough about Trump, let's get back to Nagato, a badass character with the weakest convictions ever. His buddy dies, so he completely changes his tune from pacifist to genocide. He then gets beaten by Naruto, and he's completely back in pacifist
Oh Gott. Oh Gott.
mode like he was before, and he didn't expect to lose because he knows the protagonist always wins. This is when he realized he was not the protagonist, so time to make a 180 and believe into total opposite shit. And once he's doing that, he may as well bring back everyone he's killed from the dead, which aside from being a stupid-ass power,
Wer
it's the
kommt hier?
reason why
Sasori,
Tobi was using
Itachi?
it. Meaning, he could have just popped out Pain's
Ida.
eyeballs, put it in some sort of Genjutsu lackey,
Orochimaru ist auch ziemlich lang. Ja.
and boom, welcome back, Grandpa Madara, and then just pull those eyeballs out of that corpse and just go through the process again, forever. You have one guy with the Rinnegan, and you have a nation of immortals. Any prisoner ever is sentenced to death, get a Genjutsu guy, put him in a Genjutsu, pop in an eyeball, sacrifice himself, bring back good guy, take the eyeballs out of the corpse, next prisoner that's sentenced to death. I don't know, sounds like a pretty solid strategy to me. Next, Conan. Congratulations, anime. You took
Oh, es ist schon vorbei. Ah, hier sind Fehler. Okay, gut, kann mal passieren. Ja, dass man hier keine Trennung macht, aber hier hinten schon. Okay.
Character like Pain with the weakest convictions ever and gave him a pet woman to have even weaker convictions. In other words, she's your average shonen female character and does absolutely nothing. I take it back, doing nothing would be a compliment. Whether she's on the good guys team or the bad guys team, of course, doesn't depend whatsoever on her own convictions because she has none. She ends up just following Nagato and going out of her way to screw things up. For example, in the Naruto versus Pain fight, when Naruto was running on empty and Pain was all washed out as well, with Naruto standing right in front of her no less, capturing him would be literally the easiest thing ever, but she decides not to because she's a good woman, and I guess those ideals were pretty bullshit anyway.
Okay.
But in any case, she realized Pain wanted to defect to become a good guy, so she was like, hell yeah, that's the best idea ever, and she proceeded to attempt to thwart Toby's genius plans by hiding the Rinnegan and then fighting him, which resulted in her getting her ass whooped since she didn't realize that...
Zu blöd, zu blöd. Tobi unterschätzt. Naja, kann
If you
passieren.
don't have an OP eyeball, you're a pretty freaking useless character, and that resulted in...
Das stimmt.
Toby genjutsuing the Rinnegan out of her possession that she was totally able to destroy. Just small disclaimer, okay? And I know we weren't exactly up to that part of Naruto yet, but there was nothing stopping her from just popping out those eyeballs and popping them into whoever's face she felt like doing so. Next, Obito or... the alias he went under, Toby, which is like the most genius alias ever, because if you say Obito many times really quickly, Toby.
Oh, Tobi, Obito.
It's basically the same freaking name, okay? Now, trick question. What do you get when you're a weak-minded, hypocritical narcissist that has no logical reason whatsoever for doing what he's doing, and you use your air of stupidity to control Pain, making him believe he's the true leader of his own organization, when really, from the shadows, you're controlling everything? The answer...
Wer hätte gedacht, Tobi, der Witzbold, ist der wahre Böse? Hätte ich nicht gedacht.
Is you end up the puppet of your great dead-ass great-grandpa, and you end up regretting all these hypocritical narcissistic decisions you make, and only to eventually getting killed by the character that was...
Entdecke jetzt die vielen coolen Lego-Sets bei Smith.
Nein, danke. Ich habe genug Lego. Okay. Überspringen, weiter schauen.
Controlling said great-grandpa who was controlling you. Sounds like a mouthful, but Toby's a fucking moron. Obito is also so awesome because, of course, the Sharingan is the only one that's overpowered not because of one, but because of two plot holes. Firstly, he didn't go through the torment and stuff of killing his best friend and awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan. And if you blame that on Kakashi, you obviously didn't read up on why killing one's best friend awakens the Sharingan. It has to do with...
Oh Gott.
the torment of it being done by your hand, not the actual physical death as seen by how Sasuke awakened it without killing Naruto. So to reiterate, that was plot hole number 1. And epic badass plot hole number 2 is despite him not getting his brother eyeball bullshit ass pull thing, his eyes didn't weaken and barely bled from consistent fucking use of the Mangekyo Sharingan.
Oh yeah.
At intervals of up to 5 minutes at a time. Also, as seen in his epic final battle against Kakashi, they were approximately equally powerful, which was nice to see, and it was an epic battle, but let's not forget that that means Obito got way weaker, since he was like...
Ja, no, es ist schade.
15, because at that age, he completely ass-fucked the lead
Ja, es ist wirklich traurig teilweise. Traurig.
village and fought off the 4th Hokage, who for some reason
Es
thought it
ist
wasn't a good
traurig.
idea to use Sage Mode at that point, even though he's a perfect freaking Sage. But that's an honest description that will wait when I honestly describe every Hokage, which very well may be next on the itinerary, so please feel free to subscribble to know when that comes out. Also over here,
Okay.
once he had total possession of the Nine Tails, why didn't he keep like an ounce or two of its chakra so he would have enough for the ghetto statue and not need to go through the hell
Okay,
of
okay.
catching that Vaughn after one final point. Bring back old Toby. You know,
Ja. Hallo?
the one that teamed up with Deidara, the Goofy Toby, because Goofy Toby was the best
Goofy Tobi war sehr witzig. Sehr gut.
Toby. Don't know why he thought it was cool to have a mask with one eye hole if he has two eyeballs, but okay.
Wer weiß, wer weiß.
Perception's overrated anyway. And once I'm being honest, quite frankly, there was no reason for him to make Pain a shadow leader of the Akatsuki where he took up a role as a goofball. Absolutely none, unless he was worried about making that big reveal that was kinda downsized by the fact that he was also the puppet of a puppet of a puppet. And also, Kakashi should have kept his ultra freaking Sharingan post-series. That was pretty dumb too. In all, Obito being a main villain was a great move by Naruto and I really appreciated.
Ja, war sehr überraschend, ja.
And it was a plot twist that absolutely no one saw coming. Yes.
Nee, wahrscheinlich nicht.
That was a bit sarcastic, but in all honesty...
Oh, okay. Ja, gut, ich hab's nicht ganz so verfolgt, aber gut. Ich habe dann irgendwann den Manga nachgelesen und so weiter, aber ja. Ich hab's natürlich RTL 2-mäßig immer geschaut, aber irgendwie dann auch nicht immer. War doch schon viel eigentlich. Naja, wie dem auch sei.
When 50% of your body is completely crushed under this fucking boulder, I don't think it makes any sense whatsoever that he survived because Zetsu found him. Congratulations, Zetsu, you found a guy that's missing a lung and half his heart, let alone half his face. If that much. Next, White Zetsu, the hands-down dumbest member of the Akatsuki at the same time as...
Oh, Zetsu. Wer mag den schon? Ich nicht.
...inexplicably part of Oreo plant monster. Honesty time, he only...
Oreo.
Actually does two things in the entire series. How would you put it past Kishimoto for those only two things he does to actually contradict each other? I wouldn't. The first thing he does is save Sasuke's ass from a bunch of Kage with his ultra chakra devouring OP spore technique that would have easily been able to overpower a small herd of average ninja. The second thing he does is make 100,000 freaking clones, which barely seems to take him any chakra because wood style is officially the most bullshit jutsu style ever. And his purpose in the war arc is to keep every lackey ninja busy, so the more important ninja that we've actually heard of before can face the revival guys.
Genau.
Because let's be honest.
Aber Leute, eine wichtige Rolle. Darf man nicht unterschlagen.
How lame would it have been if the second Mizukage just got run over by a herd of 50,000 nameless ninja? The answer would be very freaking lame, and that's why we have White Zetsu. Needless to say, he does not use Ultra OP Chakra Absorbing Spore Jutsu. Next, Black Zetsu. The actual opposite of White Zetsu in every way. First of all, he's black instead of white. This self-proclaimed genius also was alive for thousands of years for no explained reason, and is the brother to the two most overpowered ninja of all time. Even though he kind of...
Ziemlich cool, gibt's die Maske auch zu kaufen.
Sucks. He also deserves full credit for anime's worst plot reveal ever. Turns out everything that was happening in Naruto was all going according to his master plan. Not that we see how he accomplished it, we just sort of believe him, I guess, because that's what he says. His reveal that he was the one controlling Madara, was controlling Obito, was controlling Pain, and that's right, Kishimoto. If it's a
Overdose? Ja, das stimmt aber nicht.
good plot twist the first time, do the same freaking plot twist another 12.5 times throughout the series. Don't worry, it will not get old at all. And congratulations, Black Zetsu. I believe you deserve a second cheer as well. Kishimoto learned from his rival and took the stupidest monologue of all of Bleach and transplanted it into becoming the stupidest plot reveal in Naruto. Because Aizen also inexplicably reveals that he set up everything to work out exactly as he planned so Ichigo could get as strong as possible so that Aizen can truly reveal his true powers. Only to have Ichigo wipe the floor with his ass. Making the main bad guy say that does not make any viewer think he's actually a smart villain. It just makes it painfully obvious that's what you're trying to get across, and it's a bit of a fail.
Okay, danke. Hallo?
An undisputed genius badass that's epic in almost every way, especially
Itachi. Wahrscheinlich ein Fanliebling.
which makes him pretty much even more epic and badass. And while him being a double agent is like the best plot twist ever, it was clearly thought of mid-Shippuden, because otherwise he wouldn't have tried to prompt his brother into killing Naruto to awaken his latent power. Also, maybe it would have been a few days earlier to pull off the massacre and save the life of Shisui, or maybe after all is said and done, he would have actually told Sasuke before their final battle the full story that Tobi told Sasuke a minute after Itachi's death. You know, that would have accomplished a few things, like that way, instead of fighting to the death and leaving Sasuke in a position where he joins an evil organization with the intent to destroy the village that Itachi built his life to protect, text, maybe he could have been like, hey bro, there's this full story. Yeah, Danzo's a bit of a prick. BT dubs, you want to swap eyeballs with me so we can both have eternal Sharingan and then work together to crush the Akatsuki? Especially since I personally am strongest member and Toby's scared of me, and that's why he hasn't attacked the least village in my lifetime. You down, bro? And no one's ever thought in this goddamn series that the brothers could just swap eyeballs peacefully instead of viciously murdering each other is beyond me. Those sadists. God. Next, Kisame Hoshigake.
Schon wieder keine Trennung. Warum macht man die dann überhaupt rein? Naja.
The only member of the Akatsuki that never won a fight was the perfect Akatsuki member to capture Tailed Beast due to the nature of his sword, which works best against high
Kisame immer sehr cool. Sehr geil.
octane chakra monsters, which is why he's the only member of the Akatsuki that hasn't captured a single tailed beast. In fact, the only one he actually fought was in a completely unnecessary battle because the Akatsuki already acquired 8 tails chakra. So, in recap, Kisame is one of the most powerful and useless badass members of the Akatsuki that got his face stomped on by the same dude 3 times, and that guy didn't even use his single jutsu. God, I love Guy. Next, Sasori of the Red Sand.
Okay, Leute, ich dachte, sie gehen mehr auf die Kräfte auch ein, aber sie beschreiben eigentlich nur so, was sie in der Story gemacht haben. Eigentlich in Ordnung. Gut.
So relatively useless member.
Sasori, ja. Dachte man zuerst der Typ hier, aber dabei war es der Rotschopf.
For the Akatsuki, but at least he beat Kankuro. Not that it's a major milestone, but at least it's something. Out of all the members of the Akatsuki, this guy is that one obligatory member where you're not even seeing his final form. What's even cuter about this guy is that he has the most layered attack with the most lore behind each of them. Whether he's in chubby tail mode, he's using 100 puppets out of the lord that took down a nation. Whether he's using the 3rd Kazekage corpse with secret iron sand powers. This attack even has 2-pronged lore because from Sasori's Kekka Genkai to make human puppets and be able to use the puppets Kekka Genkai, which in itself had more lore to be an awesome technique. And hell, the 3rd Kazekage was the most powerful of the lot, and that's not even his final form either. His actual final form is himself, that has every fucking power he can
Fand ich eigentlich ziemlich cool, muss ich sagen.
possibly shove up his anus. But no, his true final form is this stupid little heart slug thing. And after all this is said and done, his purpose in the story was basically so the fans can't say, Sakura did nothing. Instead, we have to say Sakura almost did nothing. Because
RIP.
I guess she sorta helped here. Next, Deidara. Aside from being one of the most fun
Sasuke? Hey, willst du mich eigentlich verarschen? Sasori.
members of the Akatsuki, he was also a pretty powerful dude. I mean, he got his ass handed to him by Itachi, but let's be honest, so do most people. And on his way to assassinate Orochimaru, because he sort of wanted him dead.
Fand ich okay. Ja.
Not for any real reason, they just wanted him dead because he might give out their information or something. Not that there was really much information to give, but okay, let's not question the Akatsuki genius. Our buddy Deidara got sidetracked by battling Sasuke, and his ingenious reasoning was basically, wait a second, his brother stomped on me in like a second flat. I should totally fight this guy. Not that there's any reasonable connection, but they battled anyway, and the rest is history. If you think about it, this was the only bad guy Sasuke beat in the entire story, and it was through the most plot armor any character received in the entire franchise. Because during their one-on-one stare down at the end of the battle, where Sasuke managed to survive all those C4 molecular destroying bombs and whatever, and coincidentally having lightning style, which is the only way to defuse Deidara's attack, they were both too weak to move. And I already mentioned this in my honest descriptions of the Naruto Shippuden arc that I will link at the end, how ass-pull it was that Sasuke, who didn't even have the strength to throw a knife, he was able to summon Ultra Summoning Jutsu, put it in a Genjutsu, unsummon it, but I'm not going to go into details here.
Oh, die Musik ist so episch im Hintergrund.
Why that was ridiculous for a plethora of reasons aside from just taking a tremendous amount of chakra that Sasuke didn't have. And that's because I already briefly touched upon the subject in my honest description to the Naruto Shippuden arc, as well as in my overpowered underused jutsu rant. But as far as his C4 bombs and his C0 bomb, he way underused both those shits, especially in the war arc where he could sort of spam that stuff. And I mean literally, he could literally spam the suicide bomb. Next, Hidan. For some
Endlich. Erster Hidan.
unknown reason, everyone in the fan base and in the anime looks at Hidan like he's a horrible bad guy. But since this is an honest...
Jetzt kommt Werbung. Komm. Ich will weiterschauen. Nerv nicht. Es reicht. So, noch 5 Sekunden, dann kann ich überspringen.
After the impact of my honesty, you may regard him in a different way, because he's the most similar to real life out of the entire Akatsuki. Before he joined the Akatsuki, he was a masochist, sadist, serial killer hybrid, which aside from being a really cool combination, he also had an inexcusable motive. He'd walk up...
Ja, mit der Sensei. Ziemlich nice. Moment.
and say, convert to the way of Jashin or die. Okay, it's not that nice, but listen. For political reasons, I will not bring up any specific names, but most of the biggest religions in the world did the exact same thing to hundreds of thousands of people. The convert or die shtick is not new in the slightest. In fact, in this scenario, it was more visibly correct than any of these other religions that I am not calling out by name. I mean, the dude's freaking immortal for God's sake, and I mean for God's sake, literally. In the world of Naruto, this is kinda glossed over, but this is also
unsterblich.
Kind of the right religion, and that's kind of very provable. So be careful when you diss my man Hidan, because you're also kind of dissing centuries of history from most major religions in the world.
Also, Orochimaru's a fucking retard because he wanted immortality so badly he didn't think to just, like, start praying to this Jashin bastard and bam.
Also, according to Naruto's lore, there is a big, and I mean a huge plot hole with this
Mit der Sensei, saugeil.
bastard. I mean, this straight-out contradiction is bigger than Orochimaru's ego. And that's big. Hidan is basically immortal. But apparently he can...
Wer fände es noch cooler, wenn etwas mehr Frauen in Akatsuki da sind? Ja. Ist etwas, ja, spärlich, sag ich mal.
Still die from things like malnutrition according to every data book ever. Hidan is also buried in some pit, lying in a pile of mulch. Yeah, guys, not only does he no longer have a stomach or most of his vital organs, but it's pretty damn hard to eat down there. So, why, according to every piece of lore, is he also still alive?
Ja, weil er unsterblich ist. Egal, was passiert.
That's like a fucking KO, guys. This does not work. The only other thing I wanted to mention is that he's weak AF. And just to be clear, F ain't no powerhouse. You just decapitate the guy, GG. Next, Kakazu, the other member of the zombie duo. So as far as Kakazu's lore, it isn't quite straight out, but this guy was essentially masturbating to his own voice as he was climaxing, telling Kakashi how, oh yeah,
Weiß nicht, ich fand das Design immer ganz cool, aber an sich schwierig. Eher B bis C Tier. Ja.
The last ninja
Eher C.
face from the Leaf Village was the first Hokage. The issue here is saying that Kakazu is no match for the first Hokage is way underestimating the difference in power between them. It's like when Kakashi bumped into Zabuza in early Naruto, and Zabuza would say, "You're pretty powerful, eh? The last guy I fought that gave me as much of a challenge as you was a One-Punch Man." At the point of Naruto, when Kakazu was fondling himself with his brilliant achievement, we didn't yet know that Hashirama was comparatively a god. And if you want to know more about him, feel free to subscribe, because on his descriptions every Hokage is in the works. As I mentioned before, I have what to say. In other news, we go from a scene here, with Kakazu tanking a point-blank tailed beast bomb, to a little bit later, Kakazu getting ass-raped by an imperfect Rasen Shuriken that's arguably way weaker. No, I'm not saying that to loot any plot holes with Kakazu. No! It's just because the first time a jutsu was used, like the Rasen Shuriken, it's way more powerful, something I like to call beginner's rock. Since the first time it was used, it was
Ich kann da gar nicht so mitsprechen mit den ganzen Jutsus und so. Er hat vermutlich recht. Ja. Kann ich nicht sagen, ob das eine jetzt stark war oder nicht. Aber ich vertraue ihm. Er ist Anime-Spezialist, Naruto-Spezialist.
totally more powerful than a tailed beast bomb at point blank range. This actually makes sense. This is not a plot hole. I repeat, this is totally not a plot hole. Next, Orochimaru. Since our favorite albino snake
Konnte ich nie so wirklich leiden.
fucker's main role in the series isn't really part of the Akatsuki, this description will be brief and only on how he is related to the Akatsuki. For the entirety of the series that we knew Mr. Heavy Penis over here, his goal was basically to get the best possible host to take over their body. The way he defined best was
Genau, daran erinnere ich mich.
basically some sort of crazy Kekai Genkai thing going on. His first choice was Kimmy Marrow, who probably has a lot of good bone marrow for the transplant, but unfortunately, the dude got some sort of crazy disease and Orochimaru had to move on to his next target being Sasuke, because, as we all know, the Sharingan makes up 98% of all jutsus in the series finale. Since it has nothing to do with the Akatsuki, we're not gonna make any fun of him on how he was basically training Sasuke to the point that Sasuke obliterates him, and how he's such a moron for all that. No, we're not gonna make any fun of him for that whatsoever. Instead, we're gonna talk about why he's fucking retarded as far as his decision-making goes. Firstly, since he was working with Danzo, he had ample access to a fucking storehouse of
Mit Danzo?
eyeballs, with maybe been tossing some first Hokage cells into the mix. His addiction to Itachi was so strong, aside from humiliating himself thoroughly as a villain, he forgot that almost every other member of the goddamn Akatsuki is motherfucking immortal, especially if he can plant those stupid eyeballs. That's just another reason to take a body that isn't in a state of decay. Hey, whose body's like that? Yeah, Itachi! I don't know why you'd want a decaying body like Itachi's
Guter Punkt, muss ich sagen.
over Hidan, who's freaking immortal. And if you add that to Orochimaru's snake reconnection-ifying power thing, he basically has no weaknesses. And there's also that other member of the Akatsuki, being Kakazu, who aside from coming up with bonus black string stuff, which is OP as fuck, and a freaking crazy durable body, I mean, King Bijudama's here, he gets that bonus 5 heart bullcrap among other
Ja, genau, die 5 Herzen.
options that are way better suited than dying Itachi. Oh, and another downside to Orochimaru's plan, his plan sort of left him a stain on the wall. Let's not forget here that each of the Uchiha brothers molested his ass with one genjutsu apiece. One other thing that had to do with the Akatsuki, Orochimaru almost saved the day before the whole issue started, being that he wanted to kill Pain as a child. Incidentally, Orochimaru is the hero and Jiraiya caused most of the goddamn issue, as I mentioned before. Orochimaru is the protagonist, which is why he's still freaking alive, even though we don't know why. Why is he not dead? Next, Sasuke Uchiha. So Team Taka is gonna go by fast, and that's because there weren't members of the Akatsuki for very long. After his battle with Itachi, after he learned the truth and felt terrible that he died, he took one important thing from the fact that Itachi lived his entire life for the sake of keeping the village safe in peace and harmony. To avenge his brother's death, Sasuke decided to, in his memory, destroy that village. Yeah, you heard right. Sasuke wants to avenge his brother by stomping on everything his brother tried to protect. Next, we get to Ozuki. Cool OP
Oh good.
water jutsu thing. He's a great character, but didn't accomplish crap. Jugo. This guy has some pretty freaking cool curse mark thing on how it can be implemented on other people and whatever. Spoilers, it wasn't implemented, and he also didn't accomplish crap. Karin, a character who seems to be from the Uzumaki clan, with some crazy barely
Oh, sie wollte unbedingt Sasuke verführen.
explain jutsu techniques, and also has the special purpose of being a fuck buddy to Sasuke. Anyway, since she was a way better character than Sakura in literally every fashion, she also didn't accomplish crap.
Oh, yes, baby.
And no, doujins don't count as accomplishments. At least, not as far as the series. Shin Uchiha. I was hesitant to include this guy because my fear of the overwhelming majority of Narutards that would virtually throw shuriken at me while breathing really heavily and typing on their keyboard really hard. These guys don't like the fact that Boruto exists, but it does. And this guy's a self-proclaimed member of the Akatsuki, and he's by far the weakest of everyone, as far as his jutsu arsenal. Yet, he manages to do the most damage to Naruto and Sasuke once they've already gotten to God tier. This serves the purpose to humiliate the old Naruto so Boruto can take his place. This is one of the reasons why the Narutards hate Boruto, and rightfully so. They sullied the name of Epic Ninja because they were beaten by freaking Shuriken. And Shuriken don't have the right to win anything. That's a rule of Naruto. They sullied the one rule of Naruto that's been kept true since episode 1.
They actually sullied the second rule, too, because Sakura actually was most useful of the bunch.
And the final honest description on the Akatsuki organization as a whole. And since I've already mentioned that
Jetzt bin ich gespannt.
the actual ruling of the Akatsuki was totally ridiculous. How Pain was controlled by Obito, was controlled by Madara, was controlled by Black Zetsu, was controlled by Kaguya, so we won't delve into that, but Kishimoto is too much of a pussy to have any member of the Akatsuki get killed in a normal battle with the protagonists or whatever. Nagato commits suicide to revive dead good guys. Conan was killed by Tobi.
Moment, muss nochmal zurückspulen.
With the protagonists or whatever. Nagato commits suicide to revive dead good guys. Conan
Ja.
was killed by Tobi. Zetsu was killed by Kaguya. Orochimaru is still freaking alive, God knows why. Sasori let himself die according to Chiyo. Itachi was dying anyway, so he sacrificed himself to give his powers to Sasuke. Kisame commits suicide. Deidara commits suicide. Kakuzu was partially killed by Hidan before Naruto's Rasen Shuriken, which didn't even finish the job, I might add. Hidan, according to all the wrong guidebooks and wikis, is still somehow alive, and Tobi was killed by Kaguya. Fucking ridiculous. What a pussy that man is. But hey, that's just a description. An honest description. Thanks for watching. Also, you're welcome, because I had a burning desire to call the Akatsuki the Akatsuki for this entire video, just to see how many Naruto fans I'd trigger, but you're welcome, because I ended up triggering myself when I started recording. Moving on, this video was longer than I expected it to be, that is for sure. Since there are less members of the Hokages, the next video should be slightly shorter, being that I only really have to cover 7 guys. Once that's done, I do have an intention, eventually, to make another honest descriptions on all the Kages that we know, which will be even shorter, because, look, I don't know crap about like the first Mizukage or whatever, but I figured once I'm already knee-deep in information on the Naruto franchise, I may as well make the most of it, and obviously Naruto is not going to be the sole purpose of this channel, but for a little while it will be
Macht auch One Piece? Ja, weiß nicht.
Showing up more often than it used to.
Okay,
and a
was das hier
freaking
eigentlich?
Orochimaru's plan, his plan sort of left him a stain on the wall. Let's not forget here that
Weiß nicht, warum hier so oft wiederholt wurde.
each of the Uchiha brothers molested his ass with one genjutsu apiece. One other thing that had to do with the Akatsuki, Orochimaru almost saved the day before the whole issue started, being that he wanted to kill Pain as a child. Incidentally, Orochimaru is the hero in Jiraiya Cosmo, who seems to be from the Uzumaki clan, with some
gut,
crazy
hier wissen
barely
wir.
explained jutsu techniques.
Hier weiß ich, warum so oft wiederholt wurde. Okay, und hier haben wir auch noch was.
God knows why. Sasori let himself die according to Chiyo. Itachi was dying anyway, so he sacrificed himself to...
Gut. Ja. Beste Kommentar. Kann ich den liken? Nee, ich bin nicht angemeldet, leider. Oh Gott, die Leute sind viel zu viel Naruto Pros hier drinnen. Sasori let himself get killed by Sakura, kill himself, got killed by Shikamaru, talk no jutsu, let himself kill. Who is that? Talk no jutsu, lost her only fight, just one shot by Naruto, suicide, left the Akatsuki. Traurig. My death was bullshit. Everyone in Akatsuki was extremely powerful. Okay Leute, das war's mit dieser Live-Reaction.